And we are back. Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to Watchbox Studios This Week in Watches. Tonight I have an audience live and global. I have to acknowledge the influencers who've come to visit us in the studio. They are immaculately bespectacled, coiffed, coutoured, and I have to say they probably spend more on male grooming products than I spend on all hygiene combined. That said, let's start out with a wrist shot. This one you guys haven't seen in a while. Not the only blue Jaeger LeCoultre you'll see tonight. It's my Grand Memovox. You guys know it is the watch I wear when I travel. The alarm will wake me up. All right, first things first, I want to emphasize there is no place like thewatchbox.com to buy, trade, and sell your watches this weekend. Get an early start, keep me open a new tab, and shop for your next watch, find your new flame, or trade your old one on thewatchbox.com. Furthermore, we have, thanks to our friends at Atelier Birdvaillet in New York City, a wonderful $2,700 horological sculpture in luscious lucite reclaimed watch components with a retail value of $2,700 US. It takes 3 weeks to make one of these, and it can be yours. Click on the link in the description. Finally, batting practice, warming up my monitor with your pitches and my cuts. Tonight, we are discussing unserious matters related to superheroes. Randolph E. asks, "Hi Tim, actual product placement and sponsorship aside, what watches would the Avengers wear?" That's actually a great question. And by the way, guys, I am not looking at the live chat tonight because I know you're going to ruin this for me. Spoiler alert, oh yeah. Okay, Iron Man. Existing sponsorship obligations, I'm going to acknowledge them. He's already a Jaeger LeCoultre endorser. That said, I know he has issues fitting his watch under a suit cuff. Ask me how. Therefore, the Jaeger LeCoultre Master Ultra Thin Jubilee at only 4.05 millimeters thick by 39 millimeters in platinum would be the natural choice for Iron Man. Would look darn nice on Tony Stark as well. Now, Thor, okay. Major issues with electricity, and where there's electricity, or at least flowing electrical current, you have magnetism. For that reason, the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra 15,000 Gauss is the natural choice for Thor, and it features a free-sprung balance and a full balance bridge to shake off occasional hammer blows. We thought of everything. Okay, Black Panther, not as easy. His movie made a cool $1 billion, so he can buy pretty much whatever he wants. That said, he's also a non-Vladimir Putin head of state, which means, unlike Vladimir Putin, he probably has to set a good example. Therefore, he's going to go a little bit off the beaten path. Ox und Jr. of Lucerne, he's going to go with the 42 millimeter annual calendar in, of course, titanium, because he's into alternative metals. For 10 grand, that's a lot of watch for the money. Now, Loki, interesting because he's a villain, he's not a hero, but we know he's a baby-wristed baddie with unyielding delusions of grandeur. Yep, he's that guy with the pencil arm wearing the King Gold, Rose Gold, Hublot 4000 Oceanographique. That's actually my pencil wrist standing in. Tom Hiddleston wasn't available, but you get the idea. All right, finally, Captain America. Well, he's a World War II veteran, he's over 90 years old, and he's rather utilitarian. I would say, clearly the vintage connoisseur of this group, he's going to be the one who takes a 1944 Hamilton U.S. Navy Bureau of Ships Canteen Crown Service issue. We've got a bit more. Twice the price, twice as nice, 2 watches for 1 man or 2. The Hulk and Bruce Banner. This is not easy. Obviously, you can see disparity in wrist size, but it goes beyond that. The 2012 IWC father and son pilot's watch pair is the natural choice. Now, in steel, 46.2 millimeters, Big Pilot 5009 for the Hulk, and 39 millimeters, the 3255 for Bruce Banner. Now, we'd recommend the 2008 Platinum Big Pilot and Mark 16, but, you know, the Hulk can't have nice things. We've all been there. Ultimately, I would say that Banner's clearly smart enough to make money, but he's also a research scientist, which means we both know that the only way to make money as a research scientist in this world is to play one in a movie. Mark Ruffalo. Okay, now speaking of Thanos, I should say, Josh Thanos will be back on this channel 2 Fridays hence. He will be back with Jason Main. You know them, buying, trading, and selling on our sales floor every day, answering their phones 24 hours. 7 days a week. They will be back on for a show as yet unnamed, but to take this Friday slot 2 weeks from today. Okay, viewer wrist shots. I asked, you answered. Govberg Watchbox client and viewer Jabber A knows where to buy the FP Journe Vagabondage 2. Jumping minutes and hours, thank you for trusting Govberg and Watchbox. Eduardo D. battles Mexico City rush hour traffic double pumped with a stogie and an IWC pilot's chronograph. This is his 371704. Well played. David H. shares 2 watches on one arm with his vintage Patek Philippe 3519 and his Rolex Explorer, which he tells me was a graduation gift and a great one. And finally, Avi B. with our top weekly watches and wheels combo with his Patek Philippe Nautilus 5981A silver dial chronograph and Porsche. Your piece is on my pixels. Send your wrist shots to mondaymailbag@thewatchbox.com. Yes, I know it's Friday. Roll with it. Okay, new watches. First, a history lesson. You guys know I am all about Jaeger LeCoultre. I collect it exclusively. The unpronounceable brand that makes the best watches offers you a history lesson. Now, if you want to save some coin and revel in the thrill of the chase, there was a December 2006 Sincere High Horology limited edition of 150 pieces based on the already rare Master World Geographic from Jlc. Now, this was a 41mm World Geographic in titanium that offered center seconds, an unusual combo for the brand, radial date, world time, dual time, and here's some additional dial detail of that elusive machine if you want to strike out in pursuit. But, as I like to say sometimes, if you were good in a past life, you come back as something better. The Jaeger LeCoultre Polaris Geographic World Timer. Okay, now we're talking a now watch, a today watch. This is a timepiece that just broke in the last 24 hours. It's part of the new for 2018 Jlc Polaris model family, but this did not come out in January at SIHH. So this one's all about the blue gradient dial. That's the highlight. If we go full screen with this one, guys, folks really deserve a big picture because this is all about the transition of the color from the center to the outside. It has a beautiful, richly textured pebble-like surface, like you'll find on Jlc's eggshell Duomet discs for about twice the price. Now, it appears that standard accessory includes a black gator strap and a steel pin buckle. This one has a display case back that secures 100-meter water resistance. This is going to be an aquatic watch, guys, just not on the leather, to protect the Jlc caliber 936, which makes its first appearance in a Jlc watch since about 2009, when the Master World Geographic was phased out. Now, there is a little bit of a downside. This will be a Jlc boutique exclusive of 250 pieces. At 13,650 euros, you guys know how VAT works. I can't just convert that straight to dollars. I would imagine in the end this winds up being about an $11,000 to $12,000 US piece. Okay, from the brand that made expensive watches fun and silly comes the MB&F Aquapod HM7 in Thai green. Titanium and green, the latest evidence that green watches are the new blue. All the more because it replaces an original watch, the original if you remember, that I brought you in 2017 that actually featured blue accents. So you can see we've gone from blue to green. Now, it's a sapphire cap over green base material, so you've got a synthetic sapphire over the green that effectively provides protection, allowing it to be scratch-resistant, scuff-resistant in daily wear. It's a showstopper, and the consensus in 2017 was that the original jellyfish-like watch was the best in show at SIHH. Okay, titanium case with crazy jellyfish profile. You see what I'm talking about. This thing is biomorphic and wonderfully silly. Totally fatuous. Max likes to say that a creative adult is a child that survives, and that is the spirit that flourishes at MB&F. I was thrilled to find this one in my inbox yesterday. Okay, big watch, 53.8 millimeters in diameter by 21.3 thick. It doesn't wear that big. In practice, I got a 16-centimeter wrist. I could wear it. There were ladies in the audience at SIHH, even smaller than me, who could wear this watch. Don't take it at face value. What you can take at face value is the Epic Lume. This one comes alive at night. So AGT Ultra, you already know it, James Thompson and Black Badger, longtime collaborators with MB&F. This is a watch designed to be seen in the dark. It uses green lume to illuminate the tourbillon caliber, which returns from 2016. MB&F manufacture movement energized by a platinum rotor. The jellyfish theme continues here. You can see the platinum rotor featuring, if we go full screen here, jellyfish-like tentacles, again, in the most noble of platinum, and 303 parts, 72-hour power reserve, central tourbillon. I was told, yes, the MB&F Aquapod is 50-meter water resistant and swimmable. It's just not a dive watch. Sign up for one of the 50 available to join the original 33 in titanium and 66 in rose gold, you will pay $108,000 US. Both you and Max will probably wind up laughing all the way to the bank because this is stupid good fun in the six-figure price range. Okay, and now a real watch for real-world budgets. Back in the realm of the possible, this is IWC's Pilot's Watch Chronograph 377724. A lot of numbers to explain something that's fundamentally simple. 43 millimeters, stainless steel, and pseudo-vintage. That's right, guys. 1994 is now vintage because this is the German-Swiss watch brand turning back the clock, Gesundheit, to the early 1990s with its 43 millimeter stainless pilot's watch in the spirit of 1994's 3706. That was 39 millimeters. This is 43, keeping with the trend. Nevertheless, the new model dons a slick NATO-style strap in olive green textile. If we go full screen with that, you can see exactly what I mean, helping to attain that budget-friendly, barely sub $5,000 price. It looks sharp, and it takes us back to the even earlier era of true IWC military pilots' watches in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. Now, dials feature chronograph functions, a day, a date, tritium patina, a slick on-the-wrist profile. Again, this is IWC pilot style, so it's shaped like the big pilot, but wearable on human anatomy. And of course, a Valjoux 7750 caliber, tough and reliable inside the 60-meter water-resistant case. Now, in keeping with recent trends, this will be an IWC e-commerce exclusive, at least until October of this year. $4,950 US hooks you up. And I have to remind you that if you see me gradually tanning, that's the effect of all these influencers radiating off at me. Really, it's almost embarrassing that they have over, I want to say, 1.5 million subscribers combined against my like 40 plus. Seriously, they have as many subscribers as like Avogadro's number multiplied by the number of neutrinos in a bottle of Vidal Sassoon. It's really pathetic. I'm small fries here. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Okay, all that said, best article of the week. That's right, there are other people who talk and write about watches. Why, link in the description, but why the reference 5235G white gold regulator is the most interesting modern Patek Philippe by the man of three initials, SJX, of Watches by SJX. Expert analysis of a watch that I've declared many times as my personal favorite Patek Philippe at any price in any era. Now, I've sung the praises of this sensation, a relatively hard-to-get watch, and you can see that's the watch on the wrist of yours truly. This will be the first and maybe only Patek Philippe that I buy when my Jlc collection is complete. But why do I name it as my favorite Patek at any price when I've experienced everything from vintage 2526 like Lyndon Johnson wore to the reference 6175 Grandmaster Chime? Well, here's why. I've called it the DeLorean-dialed Patek Philippe time machine for your wrist, because it truly is that. This is like a DeLorean on your wrist. It's got the metal, it's got the grain, it's got the style, it's got the angles, it's got the sizzle, and even if you do drive Doc Brown's personal commuter car, I guarantee you, you will not find a more charismatic or innovative Patek from any era spanning inception in the 1830s to the present. It's a regulator. It's an annual calendar that you only adjust once a year. It features vintage case and bezel and yet avant-garde dial with engraved Patek logo. It is a watch with a cutting-edge movement and caliber finish beyond the level, if we can go full screen here, guys, beyond the level of anything Patek sells under 6 figures. This is excruciatingly finished, achingly gorgeous stuff. And I will say that this is not the 5711 at a 50% markup, guys. No, this should be the 50 grand Patek Philippe that you spend your money on these days, because there is nothing better at that price point. And find out why by reading this richly illustrated article by SJX, the best article this week in the watch space. Okay, industry news. We turn our eyes to Swiss watch exports. I know, economics, boo, Cuban Stein. No, it'll be fun, guys, trust me. You gotta take my word for this. Okay, tail end of Q1 blunted some of the exuberance of January and February, but March 2017 did see growth compared to the same period last year. You can see the volume trend dipped a bit, negative 5.2%, even as total value exported rose modestly at a approximately 4.8%, 3.2% wristwatch level. Now, we're nearing the end of the low-hanging fruit here, guys. 16 to 17 year on year was a great period for the Swiss watch industry. That said, we were comparing 2017 numbers to the 2016 watch apocalypse from a sales standpoint. It doesn't get much worse than 2016, which means we're comparing in 2017 our sales numbers to rock bottom. 17 to 18 means comparing this year's results to growth months from last year. However, many major markets comprising almost half the global market for Swiss stuff were up this year. So Hong Kong, the mega market, the USA, mainland China, Japan, Singapore, and Germany all up. And the USA, which is the single largest national market after Hong Kong, finally saw some good news. That said, there's more good news. Unit prices are rising, which means high-end luxury and high horology watches, the kind we love here, are recovering. You can see all of the gains are above the area that might be affected by smartwatches. Below 500 Swiss francs or 500 US dollars, you have all the stuff that's getting slaughtered by the likes of the Apple Watch. Above that, the watches we care about, you can see there's been growth. Now, I will say, that means there's a less discounting, a better balance of supply and demand, and individual watches of higher value are being sold. But Italy and the UK suffered badly. Quel dommage. They can't all be winners. Now, it's an uneven recovery. Future gains will be hard fought for the reasons that we detailed, but from here onwards, remember, we're measuring against 2017 benchmarks when times were relatively brighter and better. Okay, Jlc has a new CEO, and this is a rather interesting story. Over a year since the departure of its last full-time CEO, Daniel Rado, Jaeger LeCoultre finally has a new captain at the controls. Catherine Alex Ronier, currently working as Richemont powerhouse jeweler and light-duty watch brand president Van Cleef & Arpels, for the Asia-Pacific region. She's now joined Jlc as only the second female CEO in Richemont watchmaking divisions after Chabi Nouri at Piaget last year. This is an impressive charge for someone who previously has very little experience leading a watchmaker. I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, please, please, please succeed. Point the way forward. Give us direction and some fresh ideas. This is the brand that I love. This is a brand that has helped to shape my career. I've got a lot invested here emotionally. And this is one of the most prestigious and awesome responsibilities in the watch multiverse. Being the CEO of Jlc is like being the leader of the Avengers. No joke. Please, Captain, ma'am, make box office bank for Jlc. Okay, remember guys, if you're watching this recorded, subscribe, comment, link below to the best article of the week, and of course my Instagram, Tim_Masso. And remember, we also have a Hong Kong office, so if you are in her old haunt, Asia Pacific region, stop by to your local Watchbox storefront. We're out there buying, trading, and selling, and the coolest stuff here in Philadelphia comes from our buyers in Hong Kong. Get it before I do. You've been warned. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me. All these influencers with their hair, with their flair, I can feel the inspiration, I can feel the influence growing on me. It's like cologne, it's wafting through the room. Thank you all for your time, thank you all for your participation. I'm not looking at the chat box, you will not ruin this Avengers movie for me. Everyone, be well, thanks again. Tim out, time out, this was Watchbox, and thanks for logging on.